It's hard to believe that we're looking at the same guy from episode 1 because Solo Leveling episode 5 is a showcase of the new Sung Jinwoo. The former world's weakest hunter is now strong and confident enough to enter a C-rank dungeon without hesitation, and might we point out, he's chiseled like a Michelangelo as well. But this was to be expected because of the way the system works and Jin Woo's own efforts across the past couple of episodes. Where he couldn't stand up to goblins in episode 1, he can now defeat a D-rank dungeon boss with a single move. All of his stats have increased to the point that he could tell the gate he was about to enter for money was trouble, but he went along with it anyway because 1, money, 2, experience, and 3, he could handle it. The real question is the cliffhanger that the episode ended on, because while Jinwoo could handle the rest of the lizards by himself, the real problem is going to be the dungeon boss, the massive spider. Will he and his new sidekick Jinho survive? Let's find out. But before we do that, we have a small request. If you enjoy our content, please give this video a massive thumbs up, share it with your friends, and smash that subscribe button with the notification bell turned to all while you're at it. It helps us create the content that you love and bring in more marvelous viewers like you. Mr. Swoon, Sung Jinwoo's body transformation and the reasons behind it. The episode opens with an extended cut of sorts of the events of Chapter 18. The chapter opens up with a nurse intruding on Jinwoo's daily quest-related training, but the anime gives it a nurse's swooning over patient voiceover, which really shows you how far our boy has come. In episode 1, he could only get Juhi's attention because of his helpless, and now he's leaving everywhere helpless. The nurses fawn over Jinwoo's physique and wonder when he even got there, with one of them questioning how he could get that cut that quick. And this is where the system comes into play. Though he has only had it for a short period of time, the system has leveled up Jinwoo's stats immensely, boosting all of his physical attributes beyond the regular human limit. He's got muscles in places where muscles shouldn't be for a guy that was that skinny just a few days ago. And while he thinks he's leveling up, he's actually catching up. That's right, you guys asked for it, and here it is. We're going deep into the lore, so spoiler alert for those of you who haven't read the manhwa. The system is designed to make Sung Jin Woo catch up to the power level of the most powerful ruler and/or monarch in existence, Ashborn the Shadow Monarch. When Jinwoo entered the double dungeon and helped his comrades survive the seemingly doomed situation, he unlocked the personal quest called Courage of the Weak. While he still doesn't have an idea as to why it happened, we're here to tell you that the requirement is as literal as it sounds. Jinwoo, being the weakest of the bunch, showed great courage helping people survive the dungeon by breaking down the stone tablet's commandments. His personality fit the bill Ashborn was looking to pass on to him, and thus began his journey of solo leveling. In episode 5, he wonders whether he is a double awakened hunter, because as you might have learnt if you've seen our episode 5 breakdown, double awakenings can boost a hunter's rank up twice or thrice over. But he realizes after watching another A-list hunter's interview that that was not the case for him, so he decides to stay quiet about the whole thing for now. Keep that interview in mind, because it will become relevant later on in the video. But coming back to Jinwoo's body, how did the system help him get so buff? Well, it's simple. It is slowly channeling Ashborn's powers into Jinwoo through the leveling system, more specifically the skill points. At the start of episode 5, Jinwoo is at level 18. He's got the title Wolf Assassin, which is admittedly less cooler than the manhwa's Wolf Slayer, but we'll live with it. It gives him a 40% buff against magical beasts after all, and that too will be relevant later on in the video. The system's point system is a bit complex, so let us try to break it down in the simplest way possible for you guys. As a player, Jinwoo has access to different kinds of quests. He has his daily quests, which include 100 push-ups, sit-ups, and 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run. Jinwoo's only had the system for a few weeks at best, and through regular human training, it would be impossible to get his physique unless you were sipping on forbidden juice. This is where his skill points become relevant. As Jinwoo continues to make progress through his daily quests, he gains experience points, which increase his health bar and mana bar, but also gives him additional skill points upon doing things like leveling up and clearing dungeons. His daily quests generate 3 points upon completion, so he ends up with a lot of skill points to spend upon his 5 attributes, which are strength, agility, perception, vitality, and intelligence. These work how you think they work. The more Jinwoo invests in strength, the more powerful he becomes, or rather, the closer he gets to Ashbourne's power. Getting swole is just a happy coincidence. At the beginning of this episode, his strength is at 48 and every other stat is at 27, while he has 12 points in reserve. Jinwoo acknowledges the fact that he has gained his muscles thanks to investing in strength a lot early on, which is a move that makes sense considering how powerless he had felt his whole life. Not to mention the fact that he killed the C-rank boss Kasaka with his bare hands, which, requires strength. Yeah, he cracks a bodybuilder joke in the anime while contemplating what would happen if he kept investing points in strength. But the manhwa does this scene better, we think, because we see the image in Jinwoo's head, and it's a riot. But coming back to the points table, Jinwoo thinks about where he should invest his points by considering what he knows about each attribute, which is a practical way to approach things. It's better than throwing points into a column just for its sake, and Jinwoo did appreciate the heightened physical edge his other attributes provided him. He ends up putting 2 points in strength, bringing it up to 50, 2 points in sense, which improves his perception of all things, and 8 points in agility, which boosts his speed by quite a bit. He leaves vitality and intelligence to the side for now because while he knows he can improve his health and mana stats with it respectively, he doesn't quite need them now. Health is good, but he doesn't yet understand just how powerful a magician he is about to become, so intelligence is a bit of a gray area for him. But by investing points in those fields, Jinwoo not only increases his ability to inflict damage, he also gives him more opportunities to create openings and sense threats, both of which are crucial to episode 5 and 6, as you'll see soon enough. Baek Yoonho and the world of S-rank hunters. Let's get back to that interview guy we were talking about. This dude with fiery orange hair right here is Baek Yoonho, one of the 7S rank hunters of South Korea. This interview segment with Baek is an anime exclusive, likely added to give more depth to the concept of hunter guilds, which will be introduced in the next episode most likely. Baek has the ability to transform into a beast-like form, which boosts all his base stats out of the roof, but he's not putting on a show in this interview. He's just answering questions about the life of a hunter, which sounds terrible to the interviewer, by the way. Imagine training daily. We could never. Jokes apart, Baek puts across the danger of being a hunter and the need for training and being in top condition pretty well in this short segment, which is just as well considering his guild is on the hunt for the top spot. There are 5 major hunter guilds in South Korea: the Hunters Guild, White Tiger, Fame, Fiend, and Knights. Jinwoo will go on to create his own guild called the Ajin Guild later on in the series, and his process of deciding on the guild's name is some hilarity we cannot wait to see ensue. But getting back to the guilds, out of these 5, the Hunters Guild is the top dog. They have 2 S-rank members in Choi Jong-in, the guy you saw attacking ants in the opening sequence from episode 1 with fire magic, and Cha Hai-in, the girl you saw stopping the motorcycle thief. Choi is the Hunters Guild master, and we see him and Baek on the cover of a magazine in Jinwoo's home while he is going over his financial situation. These 3 S-rank hunters are friends besides work as well, but Baek is always on the lookout to put White Tiger above Hunter, and we think the reason he's been put in this episode is because he's the one who first realizes the truth about Jinwoo's powers. Baek's beast transformation abilities give him heightened senses, kind of like Jinwoo's. We see him demonstrate his strength by shattering through a humongous block of stone with his bare hands in the episode, just as a teaser of his powers. And he's a seasoned hunter besides. He's already heard of the E-rank hunter's dangerous exploits, and soon he will see him in action as well. A combination of those factors, plus his own intuition, will make Baek realize Jinwoo's worth as an addition to his guild, so he will start trying to convince him to join White Tiger sometime soon, we imagine, though we don't blame him. Every guild in the world will do that once Jinwoo's reevaluation is finished. A hunter that can level up after he's not supposed to has no ceiling, and that would be true for him anyway because of his link to Ashbourne's boundless existence. So yes, all this is to say, the E rank to S rank story is real, folks. You better believe it. Having said that, let's get into the meat of this episode, which is also why it's titled A Pretty Good Deal. The worst deal with the best bargain, Hwang Dong-suk and the C-rank dungeon boss. At the start of episode 5, Jinwoo's financial condition is in ruins to say the least. His rent is overdue, so he has to smooth talk his landlord, but he knows one thing: he can earn more money as he gets stronger. Higher ranked hunters get higher ranked gates, which means higher rewards. Jinwoo might be stronger than Kasaka, who was a low C rank dungeon boss, but he was still officially an E rank hunter. Besides, he had a reputation as the world's weakest, so it wasn't as though anyone was lining up to offer him employment. He was browsing through listings thinking about what his next move should be when he sees an unbelievable posting: 2 million won for a C-rank gate with the job description being baggage carrier. Easy money is what Jinwoo initially thought, and he was too busy deciding whether he should accept his daily rewards or not by the time he got there, so he was in deep anyway. Which is just as well, perhaps, because he ends up meeting people that will end up being crucial to his growth in good and bad ways. Let's start with the bad. Jin Woo ended up falling for a enlist and ditch scam. Hunters operate in dungeons where there are no cameras and no real way to ensure proper law and order is maintained. People are just trusting each other when they go into these places, which is why murders, robberies, and worse things are pretty prevalent in places like dungeons. The guy Jinwoo enlisted for is one such person, and his name is Hwang Dong-suk. Hwang has a crew of around 8 guys, 6 in the anime, and the reason he clears dungeons isn't because he's interested in public service. He's just interested in money. There's an inconsistency with the manhwa here, by the way, as in the source material, Dong-suk's crew had 8 men, and they needed to fill it out with 2 more to get a squad of 10. In the manhwa, there is a rule that C-rank dungeons or higher need a minimum of 10 members entering the gate, which wasn't really mentioned in this episode at all. Guess the anime isn't interested in that detail. But coming back to Dong-suk, the reason he runs these scams is because he's trying to catch up to his brother, who is an S-rank hunter employed in America. Hwang Dong-soo is unhinged, more devious than his brother, and someone who's about to target Jinwoo for what he did to his brother, or rather, is about to. Dong-suk's motivations aren't all putrid. He is a patriot who puts South Korea before money, unlike his brother, but he is perpetually playing catch-up anyway. One guy who isn't playing catch-up but rather catch-on is Jin Woo. The anime takes a different approach to Sung, realizing that Dong-suk and the rest were planning to ditch them in the dungeon. His suspicions perk up once he realizes they don't have a healer, but in the manga, he doesn't question that so openly. Rather, it is his inner instinct that makes him feel like something is off, which makes him associate Dong-suk and his boys with the lizard story we see at the end of the episode. Jinwoo also consciously thinks about the share-splitting clauses of his contract, which is another anime-only touch to show you how much Jinwoo has grown in how little time. Then there is also the other guy Dong-suk hired, Jinho, who turns out to be the son of a millionaire. The manhwa has many funny panels of Jinwoo's thoughts about Jinho's naivete and crazy bank account, which we encourage you to seek out, but their association begins with Jinho trying to son Jinwoo. He designates himself Jinwoo's protector, considering his rank, but doesn't realize that he only survives up until the dungeon's boss room thanks to his expensive armor. This also the beginning of a big bro little bro situation that will end up with Jinho becoming Jinwoo's right-hand man in the Ajin Guild. And speaking of the armor, that's another reason Dong-suk brought Jinho into the raid for his dad's loaded. Not to mention the armor's pretty expensive, so the kid's good value even as collateral damage. It's a damn shame that he's too pure to realize when he's being scammed until he's in too deep to pull out of it, because by the time Jinho understands Dong-suk's plan by seeing Jinwoo's contract, it's already too late. The crew traps the two low-ranked hunters in the dungeon boss's room, which yes has a lot of mana crystals, but also has a gigantic arachnid as its protector. This spider beast is a C rank like Kasaka, but his power is on the higher end of that scale, and Jinwoo can feel it. He hesitates for a moment when he sees his only option is to fight the thing, but then he recalls he has faced worse and readies his daggers. Oops, we meant to say dagger. That's a different timeline. As Jinwoo was taking a look around the boss's lair, he surmised that he could easily break through the trap Dong-suk and his men had set up, but that would be only if the boss wasn't awake. Since it was, and it has such a power level, Jinwoo thought it best to kill it first. But the real question is, will he be able to? Well, let's look at the facts. Jinwoo has already defeated Kasaka, a C-rank dungeon boss. He sensed that Dong-suk had an even split between C and D rankers, with the goon himself being a C-rank tank, and yet he was confident enough to stride into the boss room anyway. And instead of panicking, he's actually looking forward to the fight because now he knows he will gain more experience by beating stronger opponents. And two, he will also be able to unlock his job-specific skills sooner because of that, which is where the merger between Ashbourne and Jinwoo becomes really evident. As the player of the system, Jinwoo has been selected to take over Ashbourne's job, which is to be the Shadow Monarch. As he continues to get closer to Ashbourne's powers by leveling up, Jinwoo becomes more and more like him, unlocking his abilities, which will end up becoming crucial to his job. But that is a far-off journey. For now, Jinwoo needs to focus on this fight with the spider, because it is leveling up he's getting paid for, unlike the last time. And he also has to shut up Jinho's hysterics somehow, so what better than putting on the show of a lifetime for the guy? Marvelous verdict. But as for this show, we're afraid it's coming to an end, because that's all we have for you guys from this one. Solo Leveling Episode 5 was more of a setup episode than anything else, because it explained Jinwoo's next move and the one after that, and cut off right before we could see the action. But we hope you can understand some of the other things that were going on in this one thanks to this video. If you liked it, do considering hitting us with the YouTube Holy Trinity. Like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one.